2, 1. Ready.
Just relax and enjoy the ride.
In crowd, 815, in crowd, 815, in crowd, 815, in crowd, 815, 815.
We waste a few extra milliseconds more every single year simply by having to scroll a little bit further down that birth year drop down on those online forms. I'm Greg. He's Tom. It is the In Crowd 815 podcast for the 26th day of October, the year 2024, the latest it has ever been
in the history of mankind. It's why I always pick January 1st, 2024 or January 1st, 2025, whatever the year is. January 1st. That's my birthday. I was just born. I just fell off the turnip wagon today.
I don't know if you can do that. I'm not sure if that's the right way to do it.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
You know, it always depresses me because I'm scrolling, 80s, 70s, 60s. Dear God. Oh, God, am I old? Okay.
It sure helps when they give you at least the option of typing it in so you don't have to scroll for it.
Yeah.
Right? That's the one that I like. Give me the option of typing in the year rather than having to scroll down. And some of them are really hard. Some of them are really not good. It's too difficult.
There. Now I'm a little.
You make one mistake, then you start from the beginning again. It's like, oh man, I got to go back and scroll and scroll and scroll. We might have a good show.
Well, I'm sorry about that. Or here's the other thing that drives me nuts. You fill it out and fill it out and fill it out and fill it out. And then down at the bottom, oh, there's one field missing. Well, what's missing? I got to go back through and figure it out.
All the way through the thing.
They don't tell me which one's missing. I have to go back all the way up. Check that and check that and check that. And then I miss it. And I got to go back and do it again.
Yeah, please put the little red thing that says, here's what you missed, so you know what you've missed.
Some of them do that, yes. Okay, so you were saying big show today.
We may or may not have a big show for you and the person still sleeping next to you. I don't know where we're you might tell I'm not in my office, my studio today. I do have a green screen. This is really convenient though. This is nice.
It's kind of cool.
We're at the.
I can't believe you painted the wall at the hotel room. No, I'm kidding.
We are in the Casa de Wilson here in Austin, Texas for the weekend, and just enjoying some time with the grandkids and the family here. So had the opportunity to get down here on a fairly decent priced flight. Flew Southwest for the first time. I had never flown Southwest until this weekend. So
you're no free to fly about the country.
Yeah, you can and you can bring on 2 items. You know your 2 carry-ons for free.
You and your wife.
Not
You know what? You should have just bought one ticket, carried Christy on, and said,
there you
my
go.
Carry-on. And carry-ons are free. I do
sits on
call
my
her
lap.
the old bag, so
Ooh,
Just kidding.
That's not something that we do.
No.
Let's see if this will work. I'm going to try this. Hey, I think it worked. Our current race to 10 is Tom and Joanne tied at 5. Don't ask me about the font here. Something's goofy, but at least I think you can kind of read the numbers.
Yeah. It's an S with a, I don't know.
You guys hopefully this will look good. Our big number of the week this week is 9 million. And the answer is Austin or auction. How about that?
Oh, wow.
Austin,
9 million.
Or auction. Give us your answers and we'll comment with your answer. Yeah, that's what we want you to do. Comment with your answer. We want to know what your guess is for our big number of the week. I wonder if I can go back here and actually change the font while we're on the show. Is this something that'll let me do?
I like that though. That's okay. It doesn't bother me.
Okay, it's different. I don't know that I can change font while we're doing the thing. It is a little extra difficult to try to do the podcast on the phone because I can't change screens. I have to stay on this screen. If I leave this screen, it will bump us off completely and make me restart all over again. So I can't. I don't have a computer sitting next to me with extra stuff. I got my cheat sheet. That's all I've got is my cheat sheet that I printed for the show today.
All right.
But
Well, you know
we'll
what
make
I
it.
have? Trivia.
You got trivia.
I got
You got
trivia.
some trivia. Which I guess while we await to see if our guests will be able to join us today, if they can't, we're going to reschedule them to next week. I know today was our goal date for having Nick's Wish on because our next In Crowd 815 event is December 4th. We're going to be doing and hosting hopefully what's going to become their annual volunteer appreciation night and wish maker appreciation night for Nick's Wish. And that was the banner you saw at the beginning of the show today. Nick's Wish Appreciation Night and Holiday Fundraiser hosted by In Crowd 815, Wednesday, December 4th at the Cliff Breakers Event Center, which is newly renovated. It's beautiful. It's ready to go. They are ready for events again at Cliff Breakers.
Oh, good.
And they've been having events there already. Our premier event sponsor for this is UW Health. Thank you so much to UW Health for jumping on board and knowing what Nick's Wish does and seeing the great work that they do and wanting to help them continue to do it, not just in Illinois, but all over the country. They are on, I believe, Wish number 366, and they've been gifted wishes in I think 37 states so far.
Mm-hmm.
So
that is incredible.
In their like 13 years of doing this, 11
have they
12,
have they
years.
done anything international, like maybe in England or Mexico or Canada or something?
I don't think so yet.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's that was one of the questions for today, is to kind of see if that's one of their goals and to take this international, because is the Make-A-Wish Foundation international? I'm not even sure about that.
I'm guessing it probably is high profile like that, probably, but
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But for those who again don't know, the Make-A-Wish Foundation, they help kids get a wish that are under the age of 18 that have been diagnosed with a terminal form of cancer. And the story of Nick's Wish basically is that Kelly's son Nick got his wish. They make a wish, but his buddy, who also was diagnosed with a terminal form of cancer, was too old. He had already turned 18, and his wish was not going to be able to be granted. And I believe his name is Nate. And Nick said, "Mom, make Nate's wish come true. Do something to make Nate's wish come true, would you?" And basically, one of his dying wishes was for Mom to help Nate have his wish come true, and she did. And in so doing, ended up granting 3 wishes. They raised enough money to do 3 wishes, and thus Nick's Wish organization was born out of that. And
I believe it's 18 to 24 or 20.
18 to 24. I think 24 is
24. Okay.
Their cutoff there. So this is going to be a great event. We are already seeing ticket sales through our website there. If you go to In Crowd 815 on Facebook, there's a link there for the event for December 4th, and there is a link to our ticket portal, and tickets are only $10 for this event. So you can come, have some great gourmet hors d'oeuvres. There will be live music and a really great inspirational evening of networking too. You're going to get a chance to network with some great local professionals and our in-crowd. A lot of our in-crowd regulars obviously will be there too. It should be a wonderful evening, December 4th. It's a Wednesday night at Cliff Breakers. The other, I guess, shout outs for the beginning of the show today would be I want to give a shout out to Charmel Jacobs and all of the folks at Rockford Rescue Mission. I got a chance to go over and deliver their grand prize winning check for the Mass Karaoke Trivia Contest, which we held just about 10 days ago. We had a great time on October 17th and at Hilton Garden Inn of Rockford. And the grand prize winner, sponsored by Keller Williams Realty, was a Rockford Rescue Mission. We're getting a lot of comments. I'm sure you are too, Tom, of how well the evening went, and already looking forward to our next one.
That night especially, a lot of people came up to both you and I and said, "This was great. This is a great job." So it was phenomenal, to say the least. It came out so much better than I thought it would. I thought it was going to be kind of a scaled down thing, and I don't know what I thought it would be, but honestly, it exceeded all my expectations. So,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Trivioki 2, I'm looking forward to. See, there you go.
Yeah.
Trivioki. That's what we need to call it.
Trivioki. We might have to trademark that.
How about this? A T-shirt. Trivioki 2. Let's do it again, or something like that.
We'll figure that out. The event went very well. We may not even wait till next fall to do the next one. We may end up having to do this in the spring. I'm already starting to explore ideas about bringing this back in the spring, and we'll talk. We'll figure that one out. We got Joanne jumping in already, and since our guests, I don't know that they're logging in. Let's go ahead and see if Joanne's ready to jump on this morning. You look like you're ready, Joanne. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Joanne.
How's
I don't
everything
have,
at
Hear this,
I don't
Alex.
have a cool green background.
I have my green background: Green Bay Packer football, Green Bay Packer pennant, Green Bay Packer helmet, Green Bay. Anyway,
It's a beautiful thing.
yeah.
All
And a
right.
Green Bay Packer hat. Somebody asked me the other day. It was so cute. It was a girl that didn't know. She said, "Now, why is your hat orange? That's a bear color, but it's a Packer hat." And she thought it was because it was Halloween. And I said, no. It's what it is. It's a hunter's hat. It's for hunters. I'm not a hunter. I hate hunting. I will never go hunting. I will never, ever, 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 ever intentionally kill an animal. I feel bad if I run one over, which has happened twice, maybe 3 times in my life. But anyway, it was a buck. It was a buck at Goodwill. I could not pass it up. I love orange anyway. It's got the Packers, so I'm not promoting hunting in any way, shape, or form. But I thought that was kind of funny. And yeah, you go right ahead.
You can leave that to me. I'll promote hunting.
Oh, no.
I was
I'm
a hunter as a kid.
I'm kind with Tom, and my son has become a hunter because of his marriage. Because he married into a family of hunters, and he has become a hunter. And I'm very against hunting. I've never handled a gun. I've never touched a gun. And I never allowed guns in my home. And my second husband was a hunter, and he was I made him keep his shotgun out of the house. I would
In the
not allow
garage?
him in the house. No, up north. He
Oh,
was a
okay.
deer hunter. And I said, no, there will be no guns in my house.
Keep that where you hunt with it.
Well, I'm definitely pro Second Amendment. I don't own a gun. I have shotguns before. I used to be. I was in law enforcement training classes, not really training. I didn't go like to the academy, and I decided I wouldn't make a very good cop. I would probably not want to ever write a ticket. I think I just had too much compassion. I know that sounds like, oh, well, there's patting yourself in the back. No, I think in order to be a cop, in order to work in certain fields, you have to have a certain amount of neutrality to you. Like, well, you know what? I realize the law is wrong, but you broke the law. Let's go. I would probably say, you know what? It's a crappy law. I'm going to let you off on this one. So that's why I decided not to do it.
Like a teacher who, no matter who breaks the rules, or even if it's your own kid, you have to send him to the principal's office.
Right. But yeah, that's a good analogy. I guess what I'm just saying, this goes back to, I remember my dad, maddest I've ever seen him. He was going to the local gas station. He had to pick something up. It was Thanksgiving Day, and I remember it was Erickson's gas station. It was about 3 blocks from our house. They happened to be open, and my mom needed like milk or something. So it was one of those gas stations that sold like in a little thing milk for four bucks a gallon back in 1972 or whatever. But it's so he went there. He ended up doing a rolling stop at a stop sign.
Oh.
And he got a ticket for, back then, I believe it was $35. It was early 70s. I was 10, 12, whatever.
It was probably 5.
It was, no, it was 35. I'm pretty sure it was $35. Because then it went up to 50 and then 75. And now I think it's 150 or something. It just keeps going up and up and up. But anyway, he was so mad. Says on Thanksgiving Day, are you kidding me? And he's like, why couldn't you have bought milk yesterday when you were at the grocery store? But anyway, said that to my mom.
So his wife got in trouble for his.
Well, a rolling stop, I imagine, California stop, you probably just kind of look both ways, roll through it and go.
Nobody's here. But the cop was.
It's Thanksgiving morning. That's ridiculous. It's clearly a money grab.
Road, so he had, so he got in trouble that way.
Yeah. Well, my thought is there's no harm, no foul. I'm not saying you should be able to break the law just because nobody was harmed or anything like that. The law is the law. I get it. You can't fault the guy for giving him a ticket. I just thought it was kind of crap at the time. The timing and all of that. And it was like 8 in the morning, 9 in the morning or something like that. So, no, not a soul around. So, anyway.
Be safe out there. Follow the rules.
By the way, Gregors, I sent you my text, but what I did was I punched in the wrong one. So I
amended it.
I did. I amended it.
So you to choose both answers?
Nope. Take the second one. So if the first one I said is correct, I lose.
All right.
Whichever one is not right, take away.
That's right. There you go.
So if you haven't seen it yet, check out the In Crowd 815. I believe I posted it on the In Crowd 815 podcast page. The delivery of the winning check for the Mass Karaoke Trivia Contest winner, the Rockford Rescue Mission. So our little chat with Charmel is so cool. There. That was cool.
Okay.
There's one more check to deliver yet, and we'll do that
so
hopefully this week.
I was talking to my niece who lives in Oklahoma yesterday, and no relation to Dan, by the way.
Okay.
Oh my God, there she is.
She's on there, yeah.
Oh my God, Ashley, how are you, honey? I love you. That is so awesome. So now, as long as you're listening, Ash, I tried to get her. Well, now she knows she's on it. So that's awesome. I was going to say, how in the world do we get on this thing? Because I tried to on YouTube. It didn't seem to work. It got to it, but it wouldn't let me access it.
What were you trying to access?
The podcast, our show. So I could send it to her, the link to her, but she found it. She's a very smart girl. So
yeah.
That is so cool. That's so cool.
Welcome, Ashley. Thanks for jumping on with us
love
today.
Our hunting, but we love eating meat.
I don't like either, but I hunted in the grocery store.
Yeah, well, that's how I catch fish. I tell the guy, "Hey, throw me the fish." Anyway,
I got bait. I got bait.
Ashley
I got a $5 bill.
Yeah, we were talking about hunting the other day, and she lives out there in Oklahoma, and in an area where hunting is hunting. I don't hunt. I don't like it, but I don't begrudge anybody that does.
It's not easy, it's not easy. It's not something you can just really pick up too quickly. It's one thing to go out and see animals in the woods and such, but to actually be able to take one and properly prepare it so that you can, eat it after you've.
Okay. So let me just say this then. God gives us domain over the animals. Yes, fine. And this is how we've survived for 1 million years, or 8,000, 10,000 years, whatever. This is how we've survived. So the actual hunting is not really the problem. The killing of an innocent animal, when you're staring down a deer who might have a kid, a little baby, or something like that. That's where I really, really have a problem with it. But again, it's my opinion. It's my opinion only. So
Survival
And
of the fittest.
I basically was brought up around hunting. I mean, I'm from the Wisconsin area. My uncles, my brothers, everyone hunted. I never had it ruined. I mean, between football and hunting, all my Thanksgiving are ruined.
oh yes, football. We love our football, as you can
And
see.
you know,
The
dead
shrine,
deer on
the
dead
football
deer on the
shrine.
back of I don't miss going up to Wisconsin and seeing the dead deer on the back of people's cars.
No,
And
I
It is a
my
shock.
my
It's a shock
horror
for city folk
story
to see that for the first time.
is
yeah.
my second husband, who I mean, I know I don't talk about it real often, and my friend Sarah knows the story. I came home from school. He was up north hunting, and I had a beagle. No, I had a Springer Spaniel at the time, and you know I love my dogs.
Mhm.
Yep.
And he, on my kitchen counter, my beloved kitchen counter, and my dog is sitting there, he cut up his deer.
Oh God.
I came home to him cutting up his deer. And I should have
Mhm.
divorced him on that spot. I mean, I don't like hunting. I don't like any part of it. And then he has the audacity to bring it home.
Yeah. Maybe not in the kitchen. Maybe somewhere else.
And then he's my dog sitting there, and I'm thinking, if he gets any of this raw meat, you know, what this tainted raw meat, you know, that, oh, and I've been divorced from him for over 20 years. So
That's like one of the core memories for me is you know, as a teenager, deer hunting with my dad and his brothers and cousins and stuff, and the one year when, gosh, probably 7 or 8 of them all got, you know, opening weekend
dear.
bucks, and so the you know, they did their own butchering, but they did it in the barn. They didn't do it in their kitchen. They
Yeah.
did it in the barn.
There's
And
actually a law.
my brothers and uncles never did it. They took it to
Oh yeah, you take it to a
Which-
processor. Yeah.
You have to do it in a controlled environment. There is a law, I believe. You are not supposed to do it in a meat department. You are not supposed to do it in a restaurant. You are not. There are certain places you are not allowed to do it. And a buddy of mine, we used to work at the grocery store. This is 35 years ago, whatever. Before I was married.
you can't
And
take
so
your
40.
deer
He-
to Myers and have them cut up your deer.
They won't do it at Myers. No, they won't do that.
No. He had, but my buddy had brought in a deer in the evening, like about 7 or 8 at night. He didn't kill it. Somebody killed it and brought it to him. He was cutting it up in the butcher shop. After the butcher shop was closed for the day, the store was still open. I'm like, you're not supposed to be doing that in here. He goes, don't tell anybody. Hey, one thing I have to do. This is for Ashley. Okay, Ashley.
There you
let's
go.
see here. Do you see that up? No, wrong way. I hate
There's
this
your
thing.
shrine.
There you go, Ash. Do you see that? That is Grandpa's flag. Just so you can see it. No, she's probably away. She's probably making a cup of coffee or something.
I had
Anyway,
just
no, this is exciting for me to have my niece, my very sweet and beautiful and wonderful niece.
Oh, there we go.
Watching the show.
Let me see if I can do this. Look there. Now we can put you
Okay.
full screen, Tom. So we
Okay,
can
well,
really
there you go.
get that
Then
on
all I
there.
have to do is, and by the way, see all my animals? Let's see. I've named them all. This one here is Hector. This one here is, no, I'm kidding. I am kidding. But up here, I can see if I can do this right. Oh, bingo, right there. Ha, love it. Yep, there you go. There we go. I'm sorry, I just wanted to do that for Ashley.
That's her grandpa's flag.
That is my
Your
my dad's flag, Ashley's grandpa's flag. My dad's flag. So, from his funeral. So
Let's
Mhm.
see if I can arrange this thing now.
it
It
actually went to my brother at the funeral because he's the oldest, and then he passed away 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now. And so I ended up with the flag. So prominently displayed.
Well, nicely done, and and Ash loves it. So there
Yep,
we go.
yep,
There's
yep.
beautiful. Well done. Awesome, awesome. Um, let's see. I do have a couple other quick shout outs for the week. Want to congratulate David on his condo in Rockford, and that was one of those deals where it was nice. We had looked at a couple condos and written a couple offers, so it took us a few tries to get him his condo. But when we got one, because he was using such a great local lender, we were able to close it in 20. Let's see, 24 days. like 24 days.
Hmm.
So by using a great local lender, we always tell our clients this, and it's like, it, it, it it might be best to listen to the professional who's done this for years and has experienced what can happen when you are not using vendors who are trusted and knowledgeable and knowledgeable of our local market is what I'm getting at here. So by having a great local lender, it really smooths the process for everybody involved. And thankfully, David did that. We were able to close very quickly, and now he can already start moving into his condo in the same month that he got his contract accepted, because it was October 1st, I believe, when the contract got accepted, and we closed this week. So kudos to David for his new condo. And then one other shout out, Trajectory Energy. You guys have heard me talk about community solar before, and that New Milford is getting a community solar farm soon. I've been talking about this for like 2 years, which it's finally happening. Everything's approved. Um, they're not probably going to break ground though until like the middle of next year, which is kind of a bummer. I wish they'd be able to break ground now because it's all approved. But there's a lot of factors that go into building a community solar farm. It's not just having the materials and the approval. You
Mhm.
still need the workers and all the other stuff. So
Does is there any truth to this? And I'm pro solar. I am.
mhm.
But is there any truth to the thing where they say it's kind of bad for the ground because over time it destroys this or that? I don't know, and I don't really care, because that's like saying, well, the ozone's dying and we're all gonna just burn up in 22 years. I don't believe that either. God's bigger than that.
Yeah.
But is there any truth to that? Have you heard that? That
Well,
it's doing some sort
it
of
takes
damage?
away some land that would have been either farmed or left as a meadow or whatever for wildlife and such. So yeah, it takes away
Okay,
the acreage that it sits on, because
yeah. Well, I
yeah,
get
so
what you're saying, but
there's
that's
that.
to me is an invalid argument because there's so much land. There is so much. Have you ever driven through Montana,
Right.
Wyoming, Oklahoma? I mean, there's so much land. So I don't worry so much about that. But
Yeah.
um, Elon Musk said, I saw this the other day. He said that we could run the country, the world on just solar energy. He said, you got this big ball in the sky that is, I mean, it could sustain every single bit of electricity that we ever needed. He said that, and Elon Musk is pretty smart, pretty knowledgeable when it
He's
comes to
pretty
this kind of
smart.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I won't attest to knowing all things solar. What I will tell you is that a lot of folks in the state of Illinois, there's a lot of incentives to put solar panels on your house. You both have received that stuff in the mail. You might
Yep.
have even
Mhm.
had someone come by your house, maybe knocked on your door and said, "Hey, are you considering solar?" There's credits that you can take advantage of, and all that stuff is real and pretty much true. However, what most people don't consider is if you put solar panels on your house, if you are there's like basically there's like three options, right? You're either buying them that you own them, or you're leasing them from the company, um, or there's some other agreement. There's two ways of doing it where you don't own the panels, and then there's one that is, right?
Hmm.
So either way, you're strapping yourself to a contract that you have to honor with these solar panels on your house. So what we're finding is the average person lives in their house anywhere from 5 to 15 years, usually about 7 or 8 years, and people move. That's very average. Okay. None of us on this podcast right now are average. We've been in our houses a lot longer than the average person. We bring that number up. And that's
I'm
okay.
above average, by the way.
That's right. We're all above average. So here's the thing. You get this deal. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be able to put solar panels on my house, and my electric bill is going to be like $30 or less every month. Some people are paying 15 or 16 bucks a month for their electric only because they have to be hooked up to ComEd, and they're not paying a dime for the actual electricity because they got panels on their house. Good for them, right? They're saving anywhere from 30 to whatever, 100 bucks a month. How many months do you have to live in your house with those solar panels before you pay back and make back the $30,000 you spent to put them on there?
Oh, absolutely.
Even with the incentives.
Live there more than 10 years.
Yeah. And the real problem comes when the homeowner says, okay, I'm ready to move and I need to sell my house. So now they put their house on the market. But guess what's also on the market? The solar panel contract.
Your solar panels. Right. Oh, okay. All right. So in other words, if I buy the house, then I have to buy solar panels and the contract that comes with it.
Yes. So in layman's terms, the way I describe it to my clients is, do you want to buy a car at the same time that you're buying a house? Maybe you do, but will your lender let you?
Gotcha.
Your lender might not let you. You might not qualify for that.
Because that puts you over the debt ratio.
Your debt to income ratio changes quite a bit. So we have a lot of these people that are like, oh, dang, I want to buy this house and I'm okay with solar, but the solar contract now puts me out of being able to afford the house.
Wow.
And that happens. That really happens. The other scenario is the panels aren't under a contract of ownership. They're under a contract of being leased. So you have to assume the lease. The panels aren't going anywhere unless the seller of the house pays them off.
Well, okay, but the house owner, the seller, he leased them. Can't you just say, sure, I'll buy the house, take those with you, or get rid of them, and then I'll buy it? If it's a lease,
they don't like
it's not that easy. They're affixed to the roof. They're not going anywhere until the company comes and get it. It's gotten very messy. It's really gotten very messy. So, and that's another one of the main reasons.
Consider that when they're thinking about putting in solar panels, their future.
They need to be educated. They need to be understood about what it is they're getting themselves into and what they're tying themselves to. And for those who are planning on being in their house for 20 years, then great. Maybe this is a great thing for you. But if you're not, or if something comes up, if a family dynamic changes and you have to move, now what are you going to do? So,
by the way, Bob from Solar Panel Inc. just called. He said, shut up. You're killing me, Greg. You're killing me.
Hey, I feel for them. I really do, because I know they're trying to do good stuff. Another big reason why I'm an advocate for community solar, because the community solar farm gets put in, and rather than being on your property or on your roof, now you're buying credits from that community solar company, and you can cancel that at any time. There's no problem saying, okay, I'm done buying credits from your company. When my credits run out, I'm no longer buying them from you. No harm, no foul. You move, the next owner can decide whether they want credits or not. So rather than putting...
So do they not have panels on their house then? How do they get the solar energy?
So a community solar farm is a property separate from the neighborhood. It's not on the houses. It's somewhere offside of the neighborhood, somewhere else. And it's hooked onto the grid.
Okay.
So if you drive around, especially around the airport around Rockford, there's probably 4 of them around the Rockford area right now.
Have solar something.
Yep.
Or I know they don't call it Sunstrand anymore.
Was it Collins Aerospace?
Yeah, I thought when you drive by, there's like something in the along Alpine. It looks
just
like
south,
a solar system.
Just south of their main building, there's a big community or not community, but there's a big solar farm that I believe as I understood it, it powers one of their buildings. One of the
Okay.
buildings on the south side of their
That's
complex
pretty
is
cool.
powered by that.
And Greg, in your neck of the woods, as you drive down 11th Street, where it used to be Motel Row, there were 2 or 3 motels. They've torn them down just recently, within the last 6 months to a year. And now there's nothing but solar panels going from Samuelson to Blackhawk. Right?
There's a couple of them over there. Yeah, and you can
There's a
see
few of
them
them.
to the east and to the west as you're driving down
Yep.
251, as you're heading toward Rochelle, toward New Milford, down that direction. There's a couple of them there. So
Mhm.
if you are in an area that is serviced by a community solar farm, you've probably received something in the mail, some kind of sort of flyer that says what it costs to buy credits. And I think your average savings is like 30% or more. So you're
Mhm.
saving some money by buying those credits and then using them that way. It makes a lot more sense to me, is what I'm saying. So
Mhm.
do your own research. Know what you're getting yourself into. Know what you're signing. That's the bottom
Yeah.
line, right? Know what you're signing, because what are you getting yourself into? What are you tying yourself to for how long and for how much? Just
I
because you're
had a
saving some money a month doesn't make it a good deal.
I had a call yesterday. It's from a gal, and she said, "I am with Solar Energy Incorporated or whatever." I said, "Okay," and she went through a little spiel, and I says, "Okay, so how much is this?" Of course, they're never going to tell you. They're never going to tell you over the phone. And she said, "Oh no, it's free. It's free. Not the solar panels, not the." She said the installation was free or something like
Mm-hmm.
that. There's some part of
Mm-hmm.
it that's free. I said, okay, I understand all that. What is it going to cost me? What is my final cost going to be every month? Oh no, it's free. We come out there and we give you a free estimate and we tell you, okay, whatever. So,
What's my liability? What am I tying myself to?
well, there's
That's
your
what I
first
want to
red
know.
flag when they won't answer the simple question.
Right. Right.
You know,
So,
and I mean, when a politician does that, won't answer a simple question, takes 7 minutes to answer a question, there's a red flag there too.
the Trajectory Energy Partners group that's the front of this community solar farm. They're looking to put in a couple more around the Rockford area. But this last week, Tuesday night, they presented a check to the village of New Milford for $10,000, and they had promised a $50,000 donation to the village to improve the village in any way that we saw fit. And one of the things they did for our village was when they first proposed this solar farm, they invited the community to an informational meeting. We all gathered at the firehouse over there, and they told us about their plans and what it would look like and what it would mean for the residents. And then once it got approved by the community, they said, okay, we're going to be making this donation to the village. What would you like to do with it? What would be something you would do with $50,000 to improve your village here? And we threw out a bunch of different ideas, and a dog park was one of them. And we basically, what we settled on was improving the current parks that we have for our kids in our community. So they're going to be improving the parks, the playgrounds that are by our village hall over there and such. So, and I think they're going to be adding some like solar benches and some educational materials and stuff like that, so that it'll be kind of cool to see people learn about solar.
Yeah, that's the one off of Rotary Road, just down like Menard or whatever that street is, right? Is that the one you're talking about?
Well, the village hall is right on 11th Street there, 251, the fire station and village hall, right by
Okay,
the strip
okay.
mall, right by the largest shopping center in all of New Milford.
Shopping center in Milford. Yeah, that's right.
So there's that area. I believe that's going to be improved first, and then maybe some other stuff as well. But it was really cool how they handled everything, and I'm looking forward to them breaking ground next year and being able, hopefully by this time next year, we'll start being offered the options of purchasing credits and saving money on our electric bills, which is going to be a wonderful thing for the village of New Milford. Those were my main shout outs for this week. Anything that you guys want to throw out there before we do our big number of the week, and then let Joanne go so we can talk a little bit of football before we close up?
No, I was going to do my shout out to the Green Bay Packers, but Joanne, you go, do your shout out.
No, I really don't have a shout out this week.
Okay, I have something that bugged me so much last night. I actually got angry. I was driving and there was somebody, and I didn't know that it was a girl until the end. So it doesn't matter if it was a girl or a guy, because I've seen guy drivers that are far worse than many girl drivers. This girl was driving down North 2nd. I was coming home from cleaning. I clean at the PCC, and she had no lights on. And North 2nd, 251, is pretty light, pretty well lit. So, but she had no lights on at all for almost a 3-mile stretch. And I was behind her, flicking my lights on, off, on, off, on, off. Still nothing. There was a car next to her that kept even pace with her, almost as if to say, turn your lights on. And finally, that car got ahead of her and then went off on Spring Creek, I believe. So I got up next to her and I'm honking my horn, and I had my window down and I said, your lights. And I'm flicking my lights, and she looks at me. She's got her phone in her hand, and I'm like, oh dear God. I almost said, I hope you wrap yourself around a tree. That would be mean. That would be mean. I didn't say it, but I did think it. No, I really didn't. I don't want that to happen. I wanted her to, I wish a cop would have been around and would have given her a ticket for $2 million. How can you be that oblivious and be driving? And furthermore, I'm flicking my lights. Maybe she thought I was trying to get her to stop so I could rob her. Whatever.
No,
get over yourself. Figure it out.
Be
Read
safe.
the room. Oh,
be safe. Turn your lights on.
And I was. As a matter of fact, I was on the phone with my buddy Dan from Tulsa. I was on the phone with him, and he's like, "What's going on? What's going on?" I'm like, "Oh my God, this girl's driving me nuts." So anyway, it was funny. It was. And I was on the phone with my headset, Bluetooth phone up there. No problem there. It's not like, she's got her phone in hand like this, probably texting. I don't know.
A lot of aggressive drivers out there. You definitely got to drive defensively in Rockford, anywhere these days. It's amazing to me how many people are just weaving in and out of traffic and getting anytime they can gain 2 feet, they're going to change lanes. It's like,
that's right.
Really?
Oh, that drives me nuts. Now my blood pressure is high. I'm going to reduce it.
Calm yourself down with some caffeine, Tom.
There you go. So,
do you want to save your trivia for next week, or do you want to do some today?
Dude, I poured over this for exactly 2.5 minutes. I want to do it today.
All right. Let's do it today.
Let's do it real quick.
Let's go for it.
Okay. Here we go. Which came first, the Big Mac or the Whopper?
Oh, yeah, the Big Mac or the Whopper?
Big Mac or the Whopper?
So the Whopper is probably a creation of the 1970s. And the Whopper, I think, is before that. I'm going to guess the Whopper was first.
Hold the pickles, hold the lettuce. Special orders don't upset us. All we ask is that you let us serve it your way. Okay. Big Mac came out in 1967.
Oh.
Whopper, 57. Whopper's correct.
All right. Well, at least I got that right.
Yes. Okay. This kid had a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day. Hold on, Joanne. Let him guess it first, because I know you know it.
Ricky Tiki Tembo.
No. This kid had a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day.
Wasn't that his name? Ricky Tiki Tembo, no Charembo, Charlie Barucci, Perry Pembo.
You might be thinking Ricky Tiki Tavi. But no. Oh. Do you know, Joanne?
Alexander.
And the terrible, horrible, no good.
I got 2 stories mixed up.
Yeah, you did. Ricky Tiki Tembo. He used to be a wide receiver with the Dolphins, I think. No, I'm just kidding. All right. Which artist is credited with painting American Gothic? You know, the one with the mom and dad, or grandma and grandpa with the pitchfork. Oh. Once again, which artist is credited with painting American?
They're going to give us a clue. No
is
clue
it Norman?
on
What's that?
Joanne, was that Norman Rockwell?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, you want a clue?
Yeah, that's what we were hoping for.
Okay, was it Jackson Pollock or Grant Wood?
Oh, that doesn't even help me. I'm
I
gonna
don't know
say
who-
Grant.
I don't know who Grant Wood is, and I thought I knew who Jackson Pollock was, but I don't think it was him. So yeah, Grant Wood.
Grant Wood painted American Gothic. Very good.
Okay, good.
Very good. What is the longest river in the world?
Oh,
Well, the Nile comes to mind first, but I think there's one longer than the Nile, and I don't know. It's in China or something. So I don't know.
You ready
Yeah.
for the answer?
Yangtze or Nile? I'm gonna go with the Nile because that's the one I know.
The Nile is not just a river in Egypt. It is the longest river in the world.
Sweet.
denial.
All right. In which state will you find Gonzaga University?
Next
Gonzaga
begins-
University.
They are the
Um,
Gonzaga Zags.
The zigzags.
What's the capital of Washington State? Aren't they in
The capital of Washington is Olympia.
Olympia? Aren't they near Olympia, Washington? I think they're there.
Well, if they were near Olympia, Washington, that would be the right state.
It is in Washington State.
They're in Spokane. Yeah, it's Washington.
Spokane.
Spokane is on the very east side of Washington, almost as if you get right into Washington. Olympia is more toward the middle, maybe even toward the west. So
Okay. But I was in the right state.
you were. You got it. You guys have both done very well today. Okay, finally, I was going to do local trivia, but I decided on Packer trivia.
All right.
How many
Dickey.
NFL championships, that includes from the beginning of time to today, how many NFL championships have the Green Bay Packers won in total?
Do you know this one, Joanne? I'm pretty sure I know this one.
Is it
No.
11 or 13?
Yeah.
I can't do a 3 with.
It's lucky 13. This is going to be
And-
the year they do the 14th one. So yeah, after this.
That's right. Lucky 13 and very lucky 14.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
anyway.
Yes. Yes. All right. There's Tom's trivia. Let's see if this will play. Right. But that's not the end. We're not letting you go yet. We are doing a reminder that pause. You guys had something last weekend. Did you something this
I
weekend?
don't think we have anything this week, unless you
I
didn't
can't
tell me
look, so I have to rely on you, Joanne, completely. I can't look on my other screen because I don't have another screen today.
about
Is there
I
a
can do
pause?
I don't
Is there a
think
pause
so.
contest?
I don't think so. We have a contest. My daughter's cat got out, so we have a contest in Winnebago to see who can catch her cat.
Oh
Oh,
no!
jeez.
And it's a huge cat who's never been outside before. So I'm gonna borrow some traps from Paws and hopefully find.
Yeah,
I
just
don't
put
know.
a piece of lasagna in the trap, and
Haven't tried
Garfield
that
will
yet.
come running.
I think I can tell you this now, Joanne.
What?
Because we have cats in our house now.
Oh no!
We have cats in our house now. Our daughter Allison moved back in with us for a while. And so Veda has had to acclimate to having 2 cats in the house. And it's actually gone very well.
No, if cats and dogs are raised together, they can become really good friends.
They're doing just fine. It was a little touch and go at first, and they have their spats, but they're doing okay. They're lounging together.
Was that
Look at
a
that little
Snoopy
face.
feeding bowl in the one you just were at to the right of
Yeah.
that cat there?
There, look
Oh,
at
I
that.
thought so. My God, that's awesome. I got to get me one of those. I have to
So-
get one of those.
So if it's missing from the shelter, we'll know who's took it, right?
If I'm at the shelter and I'm ready to steal, it'll be 4 cats. You don't have to worry about the Snoopy bowl. I'll take 4 cats.
Tell you what, while Joanne's giving us a tour of the Pause HQ there over by the Cherryville Mall, I want to remind everybody, incrowd815.com is up. It's bright, shiny new, and there is a link to our new merchandise website. So if you want to get one of the cool In Crowd 815 t-shirts or hats or hoodies, they're all up there now at incrowd815.com.
I have to look someday and look what's available. There, that picture.
Nice. Nicely done.
I wanted to see what cat it is. Ivy. They're advertising. A lot of people come in and looking for cats that like dogs. So Ivy loves dogs.
Oh, that's cool. That is cool. Hey, Greg, is there access to our podcast on incrowd815.com? Is there a link?
There is a link to the merchandise site. There's a link to the networking group page on Facebook. And there are links to all of our socials. So you can go to the YouTube page, the Instagram page, the LinkedIn page. Yeah, all the links should be on the website. Should be a one-stop shop for almost all things In Crowd 815.
I thought there was one that they said was real wild. Taco is a wild girl. She looks so calm and innocent.
Until you let her out.
She's supposed to be a wild child. You know, it's that tortie. If you can see her tortoise shell.
I dare you to let me out. I dare you to let me out.
She looks like a calico.
Well, that's what they call tortoise.
Okay.
The calico is more white with orange and black, but this is what they call a tortoise shell.
Okay.
But it's the same. I mean, it's the same that only females. I don't know if we have a pure calico here. I haven't seen one, but I didn't see one today. But the tortoise shell is kind of the more of the mix. I didn't see one that was what would be a calico. Oh, here. This one is what we would consider a calico.
Yeah, there you go.
Beautiful cat. Carolyn. But she would be what we call a calico.
Did you say Carolyn? Is that the cat's name?
Yes.
Did you name it after your granddaughter?
My granddaughter is Carolyn.
Right.
This is
and my daughter's Carolyn too.
And this is Caroline.
Oh, Caroline. Okay.
Caroline. So there's a brief tour. I'm sorry. We got kind of, and then you see where the tortoise shell is more of a mix. It doesn't have the distinct coloring.
Wow, she's got a 2-bedroom apartment with a loft. Wow,
nice space. Nice space.
Yeah, there. She has to pay extra for that, right?
We actually just got a grant that we're putting in some more bedroom space, boarding space for kittens. So we're expanding.
Nice. Nicely done. So one of your grant writers wrote an application to get a grant, some grant money.
I think it's actually a donation from one of our rich people.
Thank you, rich people.
Yeah.
Love rich people.
Like it when rich people step up and say, "Here, have some money."
Here, have some money.
That's a wonderful thing. Hey,
well, you know what?
Go ahead.
Well, we can't punish people for being smart, for being financially sound. We can't punish that. No, we can't. So
no.
That's all I gotta say.
One other quick reminder is that 2 weeks from today is that Paddle to Battle Suicide fundraiser that's happening at the Victory Pickleball with the Tommy Corral Memorial Foundation. We had them on the show last week. And
that's right. That's what the TCMF was.
TCMF, right. Tommy Corral Memorial Foundation. Tickets are $50 per person.
I went to the pickle place what is the? I
Victory?
have never seen the line of where you buy your glass and then you fill it.
Yeah, yeah. You just
I,
pay by the
what do they
ounce.
call that? What do they?
Tap wall.
Yeah, it was amazing to
The
me.
tap wall at Victory Pickleball. It's something else.
And
It's something else.
I very rarely drink, but I was like, that was interesting. I almost drove me to drink.
As long as you don't drink and then drove.
That's right. That's right.
I was just so excited to try it.
And you can mix
But
your own drinks.
You buy the glass and then you fill it, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure how it works, but
It's pretty special. It's pretty cool. All right. Let's wrap this thing up in a pretty little bow before we talk a little bit of Packer football with Tom, right? So let's do this. Our current race to 10, Tom and Joanne tied at 5 points apiece. And the big number of the week this week is 9 million. Is the answer Austin or auction? Make sure you enunciate really well, Joanne, because Austin and auction sound so much alike that it might be hard to discern.
Them both. Auction.
I've got Tom's answer. Joanne, give me yours. 3, 2, 1, go.
Auction.
You're going auction? Why
Yes.
would you do such a thing? I think that means you're both going with auction. So the city I'm in right now is Austin, Texas. For real. For real. I'm here in Austin, Texas. And oh no, I'm trying to do something I probably shouldn't have tried to do. Is it going to work? Please work. Okay. Auction, Austin, Texas is where I am. There's a company called Throne, Throne, Throne. And Throne is selling a smart camera for $499. If you're an early adopter, you can get this camera for $299. If you're willing to buy the beta stage camera in this thing, what does this camera photograph?
The toilet. It's in the toilet.
Your poop.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to say that. I just figured I'd say in the toilet.
Physician-trained AI can examine it, provide data on the user's gut health and hydration, and offer nutritional advice. Privacy, of course, is a big concern. So Throne assures users the camera only points down into the bowl and only registers data if a known user is in Bluetooth proximity. So eventually, we're all going to have some cameras in our toilets telling us if our poop's healthy. You're both getting a point. Auction is the answer this week. A 237-year-old copy of the United States Constitution was discovered inside a filing cabinet at a North Carolina historical plantation. They sold it at auction and they got $9 million. What's really weird about this story, you guys, this historical plantation where they found this copy of the U.S. Constitution, they found another document in this room like 3 or 4 years ago and didn't continue searching this room for more documents.
Wow.
Oh.
They found some other very, very historical document in this room in another drawer of something.
To find the one that they just were overwhelmed and never thought to look anymore.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. But anyway, someone bought it.
Oh, the last place I look, I found it, so I didn't need to look anymore.
Oh, I bet they're going to go through that with a fine-tooth comb now.
Right? Exactly. I believe, if I heard correctly, is there 6 or 7 copies of the U.S. Constitution, and all but one are owned publicly. They're owned by the government or whatever. This is the only one that's privately owned.
Well, whatever the number was, it was wrong because they just found one that they didn't know about. So maybe if there were 7, now there were 8. You know,
Maybe that's the case.
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
What I do know is someone now owns a copy of the U.S. Constitution. There you go for $9 million. That's going to wrap things up for the main part of our show today. Before we talk a little bit of football, Joanne, thank you so much for jumping on with us today. And remember, friends, you change the world when you help one person. Be a blessing to someone this week. We'll try to do the same. Meet you back here for another In Crowd 815 podcast. Bye.
In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815. 815.
The Green Bay Packers. Tom, they are looking so good.
They are looking so good. It's amazing.
I do want to try to temper my enthusiasm for the Packers because I'm an expectations guy. We've talked about this before. I like to set proper expectations so that you can meet or exceed what you were hoping for, right? That's where I like to live.
You don't set the bar so high that if you even come close, you didn't hit the bar, set it a little lower, and anything you get is icing on the cake. I completely get that. And I'm in agreement with that. I like that as well. But the difference for me this year is I look back at years past, the Brett Favre years, the formidable Aaron Rodgers years. And even if we were down by 10 in the fourth quarter, we're still going to win this game. We're still going to win this game. I knew we were going to win this game. And sure enough, boom, Aaron Rodgers, 50-yard line, Randall Cobb, next play, down to the 27, Jordy Nelson, in my best Wayne Larrabee. And then all of a sudden, we're down to the 4-yard line, and it's a 1st and goal with 42 seconds left. Well, now let's, whatever. Now let's give it to Aaron Jones, and he runs it in for a touchdown, or whoever the running back was, because Aaron Jones was there 7 years. Jordy and Aaron didn't cross over too much, maybe a year or two. But anyway, I got that feeling again now where they're going to win. I'm not worried about it. They're going to win. My only disappointment so far is that Jordan Love has 8 interceptions. Couple of them, 3 of them have not been his fault. The Bo Melton one, not his fault. Bo Melton slipped. One of them was tipped. He was right there. I think it was off of Dobbs, and then it hit 2 guys for, I think that was the Minnesota game. Not his fault. And another one, last week there was one, it wasn't a poorly thrown ball, it was a poor decision to throw the ball.
It was
the
a
ball
bad
didn't
decision.
get there. It was a perfect pass right there. But I think somebody tipped it, got a hand on it, and that's what led to the interception. So either 3 or maybe 4 have not been his fault, because there was another slip in that Philadelphia game, which I believe led to an interception. So I'm not too worried about Jordan Love. But what I'm seeing with this Packer team is, also remember Jordan Love, he couldn't get his footing that entire game, which was what led to his knee injury, I believe. I believe. So the defense is absolutely phenomenal, but not just because they have great players and not just because they have a great defensive coordinator. It's because Slugworth says his knee is still jacked up. I don't know. He looks to be pretty good. I haven't seen any evidence of that, but it could be. And maybe that is what it is. Maybe that's why he's not getting enough oomph on the ball. I'll give you that. It's probably a good point. But
that needs to go on the screen. That's Slugworth. That's a new one to me.
Slugworth. Oh yeah, Slugworth. That's from oh God, what is that from? Is it a Batman or Dick Tracy or something?
Slugworth? I don't remember. Spider-Man? I know. It'll come to me later.
Well, Slugworth will probably tell us. Anyway, so you've got a great, and I mean a great defensive coordinator. You look at what they did last year. They destroyed Dallas. They won. Jordan Love was 18 touchdowns, 1 interception for the last 8 games of the year. They were cooking. They were running on all 8 cylinders, cooking with gas, use any term you want. But the defense kept giving up games. Wonka, that's right. Wonka. Right. Thank you, Slugworth. Thank you. Appreciate you viewing. Thank you for the info. Wonka, of course I knew that. The Everlasting Gobstopper.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh, I love that. Well, the original, yes, with Gene Wilder. Anyway. So they had last year with Joe Barry, they made lemonade out of lemons with Joe Barry. They gave up that Giants game. They let Baker Mayfield have a 158 passer rating, highest you can get. Only 2 people ever got a 158 passer rating in Lambeau Field. One was Aaron Rodgers, and last year Baker Mayfield. Those are 2 games they wouldn't have lost last year. With this defense, a swarming defense, single high safety, which simply means, for anyone who doesn't know, you've got one safety, and it's Xavier McKinney up there at the top, policing both sides. All you have to, then you can put 7 in the box. You can be in nickel package the entire time, meaning you've got literally 5 defensive backs, plus you've got your 3 linebackers. Does the math work out there? 2 linebackers, 2 linebackers, 4 defensive linemen, 5 defensive backs, and a partridge in a pear tree. Back there. This means not only are they disguising looks, you don't know if they're dropping back out, coming back in. Oh. You don't know as a quarterback.
They were lining 7 guys up at the line. You didn't know who was coming, who was backing off.
That's right. And what they were doing is they were dropping Rashawn Gary back, and the Xavier McKinney sack that he got is because he came in and Rashawn Gary went back.
Yeah.
And if you're wondering why Rashawn Gary, everybody says he hasn't gotten many sacks. That's because the defensive scheme is different. He's still an absolute stud.
Remember, was it last year or 2 years ago? People were ridiculing Barry for dropping Preston Smith back in coverage, right?
Yeah.
There was, because he was backing off, and he was having to cover some of these top-notch wide receivers. Well, and now when Hafley does it, it actually works because
he has better athletes. Because
the scheme works better. The scheme works better.
The scheme works better because he's also got better athletes. He's got faster athletes. This Evan Williams, a rookie, God, he's
good.
They've been saying that Green Bay has the 2 best safety combination in all of football. So what that allows Evan Williams to do is come up into the box and be that and cover that middle, because Xavier McKinney is good enough to cover his area.
Yeah.
Remember, the field is 53 yards wide. Most of the stuff is between the hash marks. So you've only got about 10 to 12 yards on either side of midfield. You go 15 yards each way, that's 30 yards. You got another 15 on each side.
He's fast enough and smart enough to cover all that, which makes a big difference.
He absolutely is. And the reason why you haven't seen him get an interception in the last two games is because they're not throwing anywhere near
him.
They're
not throwing toward him.
Which is even better, because now you've got more guys to cover fewer guys. It's amazing what the defense has done over the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and it's going to continue this weekend. I hope it's not a trap game. Jacksonville is hurting. They're no good. They've had 2 wins, and they're just not that good. They're just not that good. So Green Bay should win this game about 110-5. So, I mean, it really will.
I was thinking maybe 42-10.
I'll take that. I'll take that. Now, last year, you remember me saying it here when we played the Giants. Oh, dude, we're going to win the game probably 34-7. We're going to absolutely destroy the Giants. And guess what? The Giants beat us. And you know how they beat us? Tommy DeVito, of all people, he brings them back down for about an 82-yard drive, and they kicked the game-winning field goal. We lost 24-22.
Let's try to forget about that game.
Okay, but let's not forget about that game, because that should serve as a constant reminder to never let that happen again. But that was all on Joe Barry. All on Joe Barry, because he's playing this soft powder puff defense that, no, we're just we'll keep it all in front of us. We don't want to get beat with a touchdown. Guess what, dude? You're only up by 1 point. You're going to get beat by a field goal, moron. Anyway, so what I'm saying, sorry, shouldn't call Joe Barry a moron. But anyway, but this is the problem, and this is why they lost that game. And then everybody thought, oh, geez, how did that happen? And then they come back, but this is after they beat Detroit in Kansas City. And now everybody's like, I had said on this very podcast, we beat Kansas City, we're making the playoffs. My prediction was correct. I never dreamed we would lose not only to the Giants and then to Tampa in Lambeau. No. I never dreamed that would happen. And then we ran the table, and the rest is history. So
probably my biggest question for this game, Tom, is going to be the score, because the Packers should be going into this with a lot of confidence. And the question I think I would have is, Do you manage this game to keep the clock running, keep the score low, and just get out of there with a win? You don't necessarily need to blow them away. So a lot of what the Packers plays are going to be running, I think, are going to be those Josh Jacobs runs and the passing that's going to be inside the hash marks, and it's going to be keeping the clock running. Not a lot of out of bounds stuff. So this might end up not being a high scoring game simply because the Packers are like, let's keep the clock running. Let's keep the game short. Let's just win this thing, 21-7 or whatever, and get out of here with a win.
Okay, so two thoughts. And number one, first of all, Slugworth says the line is minus 230. That's the betting line. I want to know what the line is. The over, well, the minus 3.5 or whatever. I think it's Green Bay giving up 5. I think this was the last time I saw it, or something like that. But anyway, so I agree with you. It's going to be a dominated Packer game. And remember, look what they did to Houston last week. C.J. Stroud only had 85 yards passing.
Ooh.
The only reason they scored what they scored was because of 3 bad turnovers. That fumbled punt, I'm sorry, I hate that rule.
Yeah.
Where you got a cluster of players and it tips the leg of and I'm not so sure he wasn't kind of pushed into it anyway. I mean, it was just a mess of humanity. And so I hate that. And that's not really on their special teams. It's not really on anybody. It's just an unfortunate thing. So, but as far back to the Packers Jacksonville, as far as this game is concerned, yeah, they're going to they're going to probably get an early lead, which means it'll be mostly run.
A lot of running.
So look for Josh Jacobs to probably have about 120, maybe 130 yards for the game. Maybe even score a couple of touchdowns. I'll take it. I'll take 27 to 7, whatever you said, 21 to 7, or whatever. I'll take it. I don't care. But keep in mind also, in that Minnesota game, they were down 28-0. Then at the half, with about a minute and a half left, they scored the touchdown, 28-7. They outscored Minnesota 29-3 from a minute and a half to go in the half to the end of the game. And had they gotten the ball back on a onside kick, the game's ours. Maybe Braden Harbison was pretty rough. Maybe not. Yeah. I don't know. But now Brandon McManus, he's the real deal. He's the real deal. So what did they do in the Houston game? They outscored Houston 20-6 in the second half. 20-6 in the second half.
Watch out. Packers make halftime adjustments, and they are good. They are that good. So
yeah.
Looking forward to seeing what they do this weekend. I will say this too, Tom. In our flight down here Friday,
yeah,
lots of Packer hats and jerseys on the plane because we laid over in Nashville for about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And between Chicago and Nashville, and then Nashville to here, saw quite a few Packers logos and on stuff more than any other. It was cool.
And I don't know if the stat I just gave you outscored them in the second half 20-6. They held them to 6 points in the second half. I don't know about the scoring part of it. They did outscore them 20-6 eventually, but it might have been part of the second quarter on or something. I don't know. It's a stat I heard that I didn't really make mention of, that I didn't really take too much notice of. But this defense is very good. They're the best second half halftime adjusting defense.
Thanks for that, Slugworth.
Yeah.
All right.
They're the best second half adjusting defense in all of football right now. So they know how to make adjustments at the half. Also, one other thing, Robert Saleh, former Jets coach, former San Francisco, he is now a Packer. He is not helping the defense. He's helping the offense. Him and Matt LaFleur are like best buds.
They're best buds. They coach together.
Yeah, they did. And he is helping the Packers. In other words, what he's doing is he's coming in saying, look, this is how, when I was with San Francisco, this is how we beat such and such. This is how we beat Dallas. This is how we beat the Bears. This is how we beat so-and-so. So Matt LaFleur is cool with that. He's the one that invited them in. He said, come on in. We need to help. Let's do everything possible to win this game. This is like an embarrassment of riches right now. And it really almost looks like a fait accompli. It almost looks like they're going to win this. I don't want to say that, but it almost looks like it's meant to be. It's going to happen. I am very, very confident right now that I think we're going to win the division, regardless of whether we win the division or not. Once playoffs hit, win the game and you move on. Win the game and you move on. Win the game and you move on.
Barring any two major injuries, I think we could give up one, maybe two, but barring two major injuries to our star players, I think we've got playoffs in sight here for the Packers.
Well, I don't think there's any question playoffs. No question there.
Yeah.
Because I've looked at their schedule. They're not going to split the rest of the season. They got 5 wins. If they split the rest of the remaining games, they're 5-3, 5-2. That's 7 games. It means they've got 10 games left. If they went,
they still got 2 at Detroit. They still got 2 at Chicago.
Yeah, they might split with Detroit. I think they're good. I think they'll take both with Chicago, and I think they're going to split with Minnesota, meaning they've already lost one, they'll win one.
Yeah. Minnesota, I think, has been exposed, so I think
Minnesota's been exposed.
Minnesota this year is going to be like the Eagles were last year. They're going to have a second half that's not good in the second half.
Brian Flores is a very good defensive coordinator, but I think he's simple enough to where it's easy to figure out. And this is exactly what happened in the Rams game. This is exactly what happened last week. Who did they lose to last week? I forgot. They've lost to Detroit. This is what happened.
They barely lost to
Detroit. Barely. They should have won the game, but they did lose. They lost when he was the head coach at Miami. They ended up losing like 8 in a row. The last 8 games of the season. And it was awful. And there was people pointing fingers at everyone else, and he's got to go and he's got to go. Only a 4-point favorite with an over-under of 49.5. Thank you, Slugworth.
There we go. That's the number I was looking for, the over-under number. And that's the one I think is a little bit suspect. They could run up the score if they wanted to, but my question is, will the coaching staff want to? Will they just want to run the clock, get out of there with a win, and healthy bodies? That's what I think I would do if I was the coach. I'd be like, let's get our 30 points and go home.
49.5 means a 30-20 score or a 34-16 score.
Right.
And I don't know. I agree with you. I don't know as if they're going to go that high. I think they can, because what will happen.
Don't take me wrong. They can.
Oh, and sometimes by accident it happens. All of a sudden, a defensive back decides he's going to take a nap because he just doesn't care. And there's a 65-yarder to Bo Melton. Now,
is this the game? Is this the game the defense scores twice, or special teams puts up more points? I mean,
there you go.
We don't know.
Keyshawn Nixon's a pretty doggone good return guy.
Yeah. This is the
right
game.
Now, Jacksonville is a beaten team. Yeah, they won their last game over in England. They lost to the Bears, and they didn't look so good doing it. They were beaten by the Bears.
But then they got to play those Patriots.
Yeah, then they played the Patriots, exactly. And it was not a walk in the park either. And I'm looking for the Packers to have a very convincing win, and I'm looking for Malik Willis to probably play some in the fourth quarter, which I think is a good idea. Meaning Green Bay has a 21-point lead, 31-10 or something like that. Why would you risk, and
in a 3-score game? Please put Willis in.
Yeah, well, a 3-score game either way. What happened to the the Packers scored more than 30 points in any game this season? No, they scored 29 against Philly in the first game. They scored 29 against Minnesota. No, they have not. I don't think so. They scored 16 against Indianapolis. I was at that game. Tennessee, I want to say 24 or 27. And then
but didn't Love have 4 touchdown passes in 2 games in a row or something like that?
He did. You're right.
Yeah, there was that. So
you're absolutely correct. He had 4 touchdown passes in 2 games in a row. So they may have. I don't remember. Yeah, I think they did 1. Anyway.
All right, we got to wrap this up.
Check it out. Yeah, one thing real quick. Tampa Bay, their coach, Todd Bowles, not a big fan. he had Chris Godwin out there with minute 10 left, and he breaks his ankle. He's done for the season.
Feel bad for those guys, man. Evans and Godwin both getting injured in that game. Ugh.
Evans was a hamstring. He'll be back, and it wasn't unprecedented. And there's new research going on with. You've noticed Christian Watson hasn't had any trouble with his hamstrings yet this year because they figured out what it was.
Yeah.
So thank you, Slugworth.
Thank you, Slugworth. All right.
Anyway.
Well,
all right, buddy.
InCrowd815.com. Check out our InCrowd815.com website, all fresh and new. And we'll probably talk some Packers and Nick's Wish next week. We'll hopefully get Kelly and Tammy on next week. Obviously, something came up with them today that they couldn't jump on with us today. So, and I'll be back in my studio, so I'll have more options.
Okay, so just to put it out there, all the quizzes, the trivia questions next week will be Nick related. It may not be Nick from Nick's Wish, but it will be Nick related.
The answers will all be Nick.
No,
maybe.
The questions will all be Nick. The answers could be different.
All right, buddy. Have a great rest of your weekend.
All right. Sounds good. You too. Go Packers.
Go Pack, go. Thanks for watching online on all the channels. And again, please check out InCrowd815.com and get your tickets for the December 4th event at Cliff Breakers in support of the Nick's Wish, Nicholas Ritchell Foundation. All right, buddy.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Love you, Ashley, if you're still listening.
Bye.
In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815. In crowd, 815. 815.